Hello everyone, my name is Haley. I have talked about it multiple times in my discussion post. I get really uncomfortable when speaking or talking. So I am going to be referring to my notes. If you see me keep glancing over, it's because I'm looking at what I wrote to almost pretty much read off of. I'm gonna try my best to keep looking back and forth as if I'm talking to you guys. But it is not my strong suit, so bear with me. Today I wanted to discuss about something I personally found really interesting in Kenneth Burke's work. I really appreciated his thoughts on humor and how powerful it can be in our own lives. Personally for me, I often turn to humor when life gets overwhelming. Something that people who are close to me always hear me say is if one more thing happens, it will actually be comical. Or my life is a complete joke right now. These are just ways that I usually cope, and they really tie into what Burke says about humor in this week's reading. When I embrace humor instead of getting all serious, it really helps me see the light, even when things feel like it's complete darkness. Burke pointed out that the humorous one may be the very thing that forestalls homicide. This might sound extreme, but it really hit home for me. When I'm facing a ton of challenges, humor really does act like a shield against feeling like these depressive emotions. Instead of panicking or feeling trapped, I laugh at all the chaos that's going on, which I don't know if is healthy or not, but Burke discusses it, so I feel like it's a common theme in people's lives. It really does take off some of the pressure and helps me take control of how I see my own situation. By making light of these experiences, I do feel more empowered than falling into this victim mindset, if that makes sense. Burke also talks about imagery, saying that imagery, so long as it was humorous, would contain a dimension which essentially qualified the animus. Basically, he was saying that humor lets us tackle tough truths without feeling totally overwhelmed. One of the examples I actually put is when I joke about the craziness in my life, I'm acknowledging my struggles, but also making room for some positivity. I'm not letting my mind go into this dark, humorless, as Burke puts it, mindset. It's a tricky balance, and it's not something that's easy and comes naturally, but it's important, and it's a life lesson that I have had to learn as I get older. It reminds me that while things can be tough, they don't define me completely, and I have the power to change that mindset, that negative mindset that humans so naturally come to in dark times. Then there's Burke's idea of identification. He says that identification is affirmed with earnestness precisely because there is division. When I share a funny take on life's struggles, that are at least my own life struggles, it resonates deeply with others. I can feel that they relate to me and they start opening up to me more when I'm honest about those struggles that I'm going through. Personally, I think that we can all relate through humor, and that shared humor creates a bond and a new sense of understanding with one another. It shows that we're not alone in our struggles, like I said previously, and humor really does build that empathy and connection that we are all looking for as human beings. It really makes it easier for us to support each other when things do tend to get rough in our lives. One last thing I want to talk about is how Burke also highlights how humor can transform our experiences. He mentions that rhetoric deals with the possibilities of classification in its partisan aspects, which is just a way of saying it helps us confront our differences. Using humor as a coping strategy lightens the mood and encourages others to think about their own experiences while listening to someone like me who is going, not right now, but if I were talking to someone about my struggles, it helps them reflect on their own as well. This sense of community really does connect back to Burke's ideas that rhetoric brings people together and helps us understand each other better. I can't remember exactly where because I didn't write it down, but I remember him saying if man were all connected already, there would be no need for rhetoric, which I was just like, wow, that's so true, and I really loved that take. But pretty much I just wanted to acknowledge that humor isn't just this great coping mechanism, but it's a really vital tool in life. It helped me take charge of my own experiences and connect with so many others that I really never thought I would have a connection to. And as grad students, and a lot of us are educators, we deal with this a lot. But I truly feel like embracing our struggles and using humor, we can find light at the end of the tunnel. Burke reminds us that humor is transformative, and we can use it to the best of our abilities and to help us in our situation. Whereas the humorless, they will always sulk, they will always be sad. But yeah, that was my take on this week's reading. This was really awkward for me to do, but I hope that I wasn't too awkward to the point that you guys couldn't hear my message. I tried to write down everything I wanted to say and all the quotes and stuff. But yeah, thank you for listening.